Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my September reading wrap up. I cannot believe that it is already October. I feel like I say that every single month that I do this, but for some reason this year feels like it's just flying by, especially September. I feel like September flew by. Is already October and it doesn't even feel like fall yet. Like it's still like 80 degrees today and I'm like, where is the fall weather? I'm ready for it. I've been reading fall books. So I'm just manifesting that it's fall even though it doesn't really feel like it. But anyways, today I will be taking you through all the books that I read in September. All of these have been mentioned in a reading vlog. So one was my weekly reading vlog I did, and then the other one hasn't come out yet, but it'll be my reading Chestnut Springs reading vlog. So I'm not going to go like super in depth in these because those have a little more of my opinion, but I am just going to obviously talk about the books I read, give you my ratings, all that kind of stuff. I read 7 books this month, and the first book that I read was Flawless by Elsie Silver. So this is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series, and this was probably my favorite book out of the series. I loved them all, and I think the series overall is probably like a 5-star. Like I definitely think that you should read it, but I think this one was my absolute favorite. So these are all about the same small town, and they're about a set of brothers and then other friends and family members and stuff like that. So this first book is about Rhett and Summer. Rhett is a professional bull rider and his manager is Summer's dad, and Summer's dad basically hires Summer to basically be Rhett's like babysitter, kind of known as a bad boy, and he needs to up his reputation. Summer goes in to try and like help him and sort things out, and he's of course super grumpy about it. He doesn't think he needs a babysitter, all that kind of stuff, but they end up obviously falling in love, and it's just a really cute romance. I really enjoyed this one a lot. I love the setting and I just think it's super cute. I feel like this would be a good summer read too, or a fall read honestly, but I gave this one 4.5 stars. Next one I read is Normal People. So this is a reread. This is my second time reading it, and this is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. I gave this book 5 stars. I would read this book a million times over. I feel like there's something you can pick up on and take note of each time you read it. First time I read this, I didn't annotate and kind of was just like trying to figure out what was going on. Second time I read it, since I knew more of like the plot and everything, I annotated the heck out of it. I underlined so much stuff. There's so many good quotes in this book. I just adore it. If you haven't read it, this is about Marianne and Connell. There's not like really a set plot. It's more like character driven, and it kind of follows them over the course of like 6 or 7 years when they meet in high school and then throughout college and after college, and how even though they'll drift apart, they always find their way back to each other. It's just, I just can't even describe how much I love this book. Please, 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 if you have not read it yet, please read this book. It is so good. The one like big critique that people always have with this book is that there are no quotation marks, which when you first read it is very jarring and you're like, what's going on? But I feel like it's pretty easy to pick up on. After a couple chapters, you like start to understand it more. I think a lot of people also don't enjoy this book because they go into it expecting more of a plot, and it's not necessarily like plot driven, it's character driven. So if you go in with that mindset and knowing that though, I think you will absolutely adore this book. Next up, I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I was in the mood for a thriller when I picked this up, and I actually read this. It's on Kindle Unlimited, so I read it on my phone and I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's hard to describe thrillers without like giving away what the plot is, but basically this is about Amelia and Adam, and they're a married couple and they're kind of struggling in their marriage. So they go away to this like, I think it's in Scotland, this like house. It's an old church, I'm pretty sure, that's like turned into a house. Anyways, they go there, crazy shit starts happening. There's a woman in the cottage that's like next to the church, and stuff starts happening with that, and it's creepy shit. And I will say the beginning was a little slow for me, but once it started to like get into the actual plot and like all of these little things started to be revealed, it was really good. Definitely one that like I had to keep reading because I needed to know what happened. So it was good. It wasn't absolute favorite thriller of all time, I would say, but it was very, very good, and I gave that one 4 stars. Next, I read The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I gave this one 4 stars as well. I had a really good reading month, I will say. I didn't have a single book under 4 stars, so that is really good. This is about twins Desiree and Stella, and they grow up in Louisiana in a community that is all black, but everyone is very light-skinned black, and it's actually sort of frowned upon if you're darker skinned. They grew up in this community, and then they ran away when they were like 16, I think, and ended up splitting up, and one of the sisters went on to marry a white man, had a daughter who was white passing, and basically lived her life white passing. The other sister went on to marry a black man, had a daughter that was very dark skinned, and lived her life in that way. It goes back and forth between the two sisters and how their lives are so vastly different because of the way that they portrayed themselves. Especially in this time, there's still segregation, there's still racism. I mean, racism is still rampant to this day. So it's just very interesting to see how the two sisters' lives differ so much, even though they come from the exact same background. If you're looking for something more deep and something you can really analyze, I think this book is great. I think this would be a great book club book if you're a part of a book club, because there's so much to analyze in this book, so much to talk about, and I think it was a really phenomenal read. It is literary fiction, obviously. I'm not usually huge into literary fiction, but I really enjoyed this book and I'm really glad that I read it. The last 3 books that I read this month were the rest of the Chestnut Spring series, so I'm not going to talk too much about these because I am posting that vlog probably next week. But first we have Heartless. This one I gave 4 stars. This is single dad trope. This is about Cade. He's one of the Eaton brothers, so Rhett's brother. And he is a single dad. He needs a nanny for the summer. Summer from the first book convinces him to hire her best friend Willa to be the nanny for the summer. She's younger, kind of this like wild card, and the two of them do not get along at first. It's that typical grumpy character. She's very sunshiny, but of course she kind of like starts to crack him a little, and it's really cute. I really love their relationship. This book is so sweet. I also love the kid in the book, Luke. He's so cute, and like his character is a lot of fun, so really enjoyed this one. Next we have Powerless. So this one is a friends to lovers. So this is about Jasper, and he is a friend of the Eaton brothers, but he basically grew up like a brother to them. The Eaton family took him in when he was in high school, and his family like abandoned him, so he's essentially like a brother, but not technically, because Sloane is actually the cousin of the Eaton brothers, and this is their romance. So they're not actually related, don't freak out. But they have been friends for a really long time. Sloane is set to marry this guy that's like absolutely terrible, and then she finds out something on the wedding day and is basically like, I can't marry this guy. So Jasper helps her run away. They go on this road trip together, and these feelings that they've both had for each other for years finally come to the surface. It's so cute. I really enjoyed it. The one thing I will say, and I talked about it more in the vlog, is I feel like there wasn't as much of an emotional connection between them until the end. I feel like there was all this like sexual tension buildup, but I didn't get that like emotional connection or that deeper connection. I wish it would have gone a little bit deeper into like their past and their feelings for each other, but otherwise it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Last book is Reckless, and this one is about Winter, which is Summer's sister, and then Theo, and he is also a bull rider. His mentor is Rhett, so that's like the connection there. Two of them meet one Christmas at the Eaton family Christmas, have a one-night stand, and then end up getting pregnant. And so it's about them having to like co-parent and figure that out while they still have feelings for each other. But Winter is afraid of getting into another relationship because she was really hurt by her last relationship. She ended up getting divorced and all this stuff. And it's really sweet because Theo just the whole time, like I love his character so much. The whole time he just keeps pining after her. He's like, I'm gonna get you to fall in love with me eventually. Like, I know we're meant to be, and this is gonna happen eventually. And it's so cute, and I just loved this one so much. I also gave this one 4 stars. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know how I was gonna feel about accidental pregnancy, just because I've never read a book with that trope, and I know a lot of people hate it, but I actually didn't really mind it. Like, I wouldn't say it was like my all-time favorite trope, but it wasn't one that I was like, oh, I absolutely hate this. So that is all for this month's reads. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely watch the 2 reading vlogs that I talk about to get more like of my in-depth opinions on these books. Otherwise, that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.